If you were to ask me what the best build in Lies of P is right now, I would immediately tell you to make a Motivity build. Motivity is the equivalent of strength in other Souls games, which means you can specialize in big and heavy weapons. I've tried many builds in Lies of P, including advance and technique, but the destruction, damage, and chaos you can create with these big, heavy Motivity scaling weapons is extremely satisfying and also very effective against every single enemy and every single boss in the game. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today we are breaking down one of the best Motivity builds in Lies of P, including the best stats, weapons, and amulets to use. I can also confirm that I found the holy trinity of strength weapons, and in today's video we will cover several weapon combinations using the handles and blades of these specific weapons. We cover all things action RPG on this channel, so if you're a fan of this genre like I am, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel, and if you do find this video helpful or enjoyable in any way, shape, or form, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. Let's get started. Your main stats for this build are going to be Vitality, Vigor, Capacity, and obviously Motivity. Vitality determines your character's HP. Your overall health will grow as you increase Vitality, and also your guard regain abilities are improved. Higher health not only makes it possible for you to withstand more blows, but it also makes it easier for you to heal when you attack after blocking. A higher health pool is essential for Motivity builds since you do leave yourself open to attacks when you're executing powerful Fable arts or just heavy attacks in general. Your Vigor and Stamina go hand in hand. Your Stamina pool grows as your Vigor increases, allowing you to execute more consecutive attacks, cover more ground, and even dodge more skillfully. If you're utilizing heavier weapons that require more stamina every swing, this is especially crucial. A higher capacity means you can carry a heavier load, including your Legion arm, amulets, and weapons. For most players, I would recommend keeping your capacity percentage anywhere between 50 to 70%, just to maintain optimal movement speed and rolling. And then lastly, Motivity is going to be your main damage stat. The higher you increase your Motivity, the more damage your Motivity scaling weapons will deal. Like I mentioned earlier, I found the holy trinity of strength weapons in Lies of P. Mixing and matching the handles and blades of these weapons will create some of the most powerful and devastating Motivity weapons in Lies of P. The Crop Police Baton is located near the inside the house on Elysian Boulevard Stargazer. From the Stargazer, walk to the roof and keep going along the path until a dimensional butterfly spawns. Next, go left and then go down a series of ladders. Once back on the street, defeat the police puppet to obtain this weapon. The Big Pipe Wrench is located in the center of Vanini Works. From the Stargazer, go down the ladder and follow the path past several minecarts until reaching a large cave. Walk across the bridge and climb the ladder to find the chest containing the weapon. And lastly, the Live Puppet's Axe, which is actually located in the Barren Swamp in Chapter 8. Keep walking to the next area and eventually the player will reach the backside of a tower. Travel to the top of the tower to find the chest containing the weapon. Now that we have the weapons, let's talk about the best weapon combinations. Let's start with the first weapon combination, which just so happens to be one of the best and most well-rounded weapons in the entire game. The Crop Police Baton handle and the Big Pipe Wrench head. This is a great weapon for anyone that wants to hit really hard without being super slow or heavy. Now what you gain in speed, you do sacrifice in range, but let me tell you guys, the Big Pipe Wrench head's Patient Smash Fable art is incredibly strong and will pretty much destroy every single enemy in the game. You also cannot be interrupted during this powerful attack, which makes it even stronger. Overall, this is a fantastic weapon combination for any Motivity build. It's versatile, quicker than other Motivity weapons, and also has one of the most broken Fable arts in the game. Now, if you find yourself in situations where you feel like you just don't have enough range with the wrench head and the police baton handle, try combining the cut police baton handle with the live puppet's axe blade. This will provide you with the same exact moveset as the previous weapon we discussed, only now you have way more range. The live puppet's axe actually has a really strong Fable art as well. Now, even though it's not as powerful as the patience slash Fable art on the big pipe wrench, it's way easier to execute, and it only requires 2 Fable charges instead of 3 per attack. The third weapon combination isn't exactly a combination at all. It's actually just the handle and the blade of the live puppet's axe. I personally think this is one of the best Motivity weapons in the game. Now, even though it's incredibly slow to use, the attacks are very slow, much of that time you spend exposing yourself with these slow attacks is well worth it, just because this weapon does so much damage. And if you're patient with the moveset and you learn the technique, no enemy will be able to stand a chance. Next, you'll want to equip and upgrade the Puppet String Legion arm. In my personal opinion, this is the best and most versatile Legion arm in the whole game. It works really well for closing those gaps between you and your enemy, but most importantly, it makes it easier to execute those heavy, high damage attacks, since you can use the puppet string to pull yourself towards the enemies, launch yourself into the air, and in most cases, dodging the enemy attack in the process. Mobility is huge in this game, and even with a heavy, high damage mobility build, you still need to find ways to finesse. The Puppet String Legion arm is the first Legion arm you obtain in the game, so it should be fairly easy to prioritize this arm and upgrade it over time. The 4 upgrades include Trace, which lets you pull enemies towards you, Dodge, which enables dodging after a hit, and the best upgrade for the Puppet String, Attack Link. This is the ability that lets you pull yourself towards the enemy, launch yourself into the air to unleash a devastating attack. I am currently using 4 amulets on this build. The first amulet is the Patience amulet, which increases your stamina recovery speed. I think this amulet is important for any Motivity build since you're typically playing with heavier weapons, right? That stamina recovery could be the difference between you getting one-shotted or just dodging the attack completely at the last second. The Recharged amulet is decent as well since it continuously restores your HP over time. It's not super fast, but it's nice to have so you don't have to waste all of your pulse cells. The Iron Wall amulet is going to add an extra layer of protection to the build, which again is important since you're going to be executing very slow attacks that will leave you exposed. The Iron Wall amulet increases your overall physical damage reduction rate. The last amulet on the build, probably the best amulet overall, is the Arm of God amulet. The Arm of God amulet provides a temporary buff to P's physical damage upon landing a successful strike, and yes, it does stack. It can only be obtained by giving the Reborn Champion's Ergo to Alidoro, so you'll need to reach Chapter 7, kill the boss, to obtain this weapon. Trust me though, it's definitely worth it, and this is where a lot of your damage output is going to come from. For the P organs, I managed to make it all the way to Phase 6, and I figured it was a good idea to at least go over the choices I made, since there's a lot of moving parts to this build. For Phase 1, I unlocked 3 skills. Add Fable Slots 1 increases the maximum number of charged Fable slots, which depending on your weapon, will unlock the ability to perform consecutive Fable attacks. Link Dodge is a must-have since it enables you to dodge again in the middle of a dodge motion, further increasing your survivability. The third skill worth grabbing in Phase 1 is Increase Pulse Cells 1, which further increases the maximum number of pulse cells you can hold on your build. Lies of P is not an easy game. It's actually very punishing, so make sure you are always prepared for the worst. For Phase 2, I unlocked Rising Dodge, Increase Pulse Cells 2, and add Amulet Slots 1. Rising Dodge enables dodging when you get knocked down on the ground, which can be extremely helpful when a boss hits you with a very powerful attack. Sometimes you just need to roll away and heal up fast. Increasing Amulet Slots is recommended just because there's so many powerful amulets you can equip in this game. Just don't forget to increase your capacity over time so you can carry everything. In Phase 3, I unlocked the Shortened Fruit Berry clearing time skill just because I like respecing my character and modifying my build. In phase 4, I further increased the maximum number of amulet and fable slots on the build, and also increased the maximum number of special grindstone uses so I wouldn't have to worry about bringing extra limited resources. In phase 5, I increased my staggerable window for enemies when I'm trying to execute heavy fatal attacks. And lastly, I decided to add an extra belt slot to the build just so I can carry more items and more throwables. Thank you all so much for watching the video. It really does mean a lot. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable in any way, shape, or form, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. It helps the channel grow and it helps push the video to others that may need it. If you enjoy the style of these videos and you want to see more guides for action RPG games, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as a part of the family. And if you don't want to miss any future uploads, turn on those bell notifications so you are notified every time I drop a new video.